First of all, I would like to say good afternoon. My name is Juju. I am the official Cameroonian correspondent for the BCMA podcast. I would like to send our congratulations to our brother Francis Ngannou for his fight against Tyson Fury this last weekend. I only have one question. Even though the referees say that he lost, everybody knows that he won. How did you think Tyson Fury was going to beat Francis Ngannou when Francis Ngannou has the man that Tyson Fury is named after, Mike Tyson, in his corner? Explain that for me, please. I will be waiting for the answers in the comments. And now, the BCMA podcast. Congratulations, Francis.
Long as I'm the number one, I don't care who come after. When I came from Africa, they call me booty scratcher. Now they scream a nigga name when
What's
I
up,
say
people?
who's
Welcome back to the
master.
BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. It's your boy Lucky from Lucky's Muay Thai. This is episode number 79. In this episode, we are strictly going to talk about the Ngannou versus Fury fight. And, well, was I right? I mean, I guess we'll talk about it. But first, if you like the show, tap the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend, drop a comment below. It helps with the algorithm. If you want to stop by the gym, hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. We have an amazing Muay Thai program. We have an amazing Jiu-Jitsu program. If you want to try the Jiu-Jitsu program, hit up Roberto Carrero at CarreroBJJ on Instagram. Again, you can check us out, www.luckysmt.com. You can go on there and contact us and sign up for a trial class. As soon as you come in and try it out, we'll sign you up and get you on your Muay Thai journey. All right? Come see us. Okay, look, I made a pick in the last episode, and my pick was go up, and Francis just tosses him sort of to the side and then cleans him up. I mean, I don't know, man. What if this happens? Goes to wrap him up, he turns him, shrugs him off, and then cracks him. Could this actually happen? Yeah, why not? Francis Ngannou has basically beat and defied every odd that has been put in front of him. How can I not root for that guy? I love Tyson Fury, but man, I'm taking Ngannou in a huge upset win. And whatever belt they're doing or whatever, I would be super dope, super happy to see it. It would be dope. All right, so that's my pick, Ngannou, and a shocker. Now, if you watch the fight, maybe emotions have carried over, but many people besides myself believe that Ngannou won that fight. Did he win? I don't know. Some of those rounds are like super close. It's hard to say, but certainly looked like he won. But that's not the important lesson here. Well, first of all, let's give him all the credit because he is part of that important lesson that I'm going to get to. Let's talk about him for a second. This is a man who was in the sand mines, Cameroon, grew up in horrible conditions, tried to escape, or not escape, but tried to flee to, better, greener pastures, if you will. And I think 3 times he got sent back, in jail, like all sorts of things. And finally made his way, I've talked about this before, finally made his way to France, really wanted to box. So just so you all know, I don't know why everybody assumed that this guy is just like, and not to diss like Connor or those guys in this regard, but like this man wanted to box before he got into MMA. Boxing was where he wanted to be. So even when he started MMA, you can go and listen to interviews of him talking about wanting to box. So it's not as if he wasn't already focused on boxing, and you have to have that kind of mindset to actually get in there and do some real work, which we'll get into. But his ability to overcome all of that, not find a plane where he was like, okay, I'm comfortable here, this is where I'm just going to stay, meaning like he finally gets to France and goes, oh, I got an apartment, let me just get a job, let me get my citizenship, whatever it is, and then I'm good. No, this man said, I want more. And then when he got more, he said, no, I want more. And got to the UFC, won the heavyweight championship, and said, I want more, but not just for me. I want more for other fighters. And they said, nah, They tried to shelf him. They did a bunch of different things because promoters are dirty. I say this all the time. It's not a knock against promoters. I mean, it is the nature of the beast, as they say. They don't have to act that way, but unfortunately, that's how it is. He went through all of those things. Finally got a deal with the PFL. Went out and fought an amazing fight against, one of the best, if not the best heavyweight of our era. And, so his story is amazing, but let's talk about something else real quick before we even move on to that. You know what really kind of burns me up about this whole thing? Fighters that bet against him, not on some like, well, I think Tyson Fury's a better fighter, blah, 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 whatever, but on some, he shouldn't have left the UFC. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. I think it was a mistake. Let me tell you something. It's interesting when people say it that aren't like maybe stars and stuff like that, because they're still trying to find their way. But when Conor McGregor, Sean O'Malley, when those guys say things like that, it's funny to me, because a large part of what they are doing and have done has to do with massive amounts of self-belief when nobody else believed. Sean O'Malley was like the colored haired dude that they were going to be feeding a bunch of like cans to build him up over time because he was the young guy, and he was like, nah, give me Yan. And everybody was like, oh, you're crazy, you shouldn't fight Yan, right? And then Aljo, right? Like, what are you talking about, man? You, Conor, you, Sean O'Malley, of all people, or both of you, Conor, you fought Floyd Mayweather. I don't think you ever thought you were going to do that, but you put it out there, and then you believed the double champ thing. You believed all of that when nobody else believed it. What are we talking about? If you're in the fight game and you go against somebody whose basic principles align with your basic principles, as far as like belief in yourself, dare to be incredible and be great, don't let anybody stop you, like, what are you going against? Because he decided, I'm going to try to fight boxing and leave the UFC. The UFC is not the end all be all. They have great deals for those people that they want to have great deals for. They care about the people they want to care about. You happen to be somebody they care about now. Conor, it felt like for a minute, was teetering. They care about you when they care about you because there's always people underneath you coming up. Let's not ever forget that. The person that needs to care about you really and care and believe is you overall. And this goes to the main part of this, the main, I guess, idea. Self-belief. Listen, I have a gym. This is all self-belief stuff. It's really incredible that I was able to do this. I definitely want more and have ideas of things that I want to do. It is all self-belief. I mean, the reality is people told me a million things about what I wasn't going to do, what I wasn't going to be, what I wasn't going to accomplish, what wasn't going to happen, and how I was going to fail. And man, and these are not just people that are watching from the outside. These are people that know you. That know you. So be like Francis. Believe more than anybody else believes. Even when somebody believes, believe more than that person. Whatever you want is definitely possible. And, that whole chance favors the prepared mind thing. You can believe all you want, but you also have to make the efforts to put yourself in the position so that when the opportunity arises for you to do the thing that you believe in, that you believe that you're capable of, you're able to capitalize on that opportunity. Believing is just not enough, man. those guys that believe and accomplish amazing things, and gals, I mean everyone obviously, it requires an immense sacrifice of time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, emotional loss, ups and downs, all sorts of everything. But the idea is that you keep going through all of that no matter what. You put all of your efforts into believing in you and into the efforts that you're putting in, and that you know there are going to be obstacles and pitfalls along the way. But in the end, you have to bet on yourself. If you want to be somewhere and do something, you have to believe that you know what you're doing. You're going to do it in the right way, in the right paths. And you might not know sometimes if you're on the right one, but you cannot slow down. You must continue. Be like Francis. When everybody was talking shite about this brother, this man was quiet. There were promotions making claims that he was asking for this and asking for that and saying, whatever he was saying, allegedly, he was quiet in the shadows. When they say, oh man, he wants too much money. He's asking for things for the fighters. Yeah, somebody's got to do something different. Asking for a better situation for the fighters is not really a bad idea. And if the fighters were smart during that whole Francis situation, they should have jumped on and supported. This is just another situation where you're looking at no collective bargaining agreements, no union, no nothing. The fighters are in it for themselves. So for all you believers that are going to make a good, non-believers in Francis that are going to make a good chunk of change in your next, 10 fight deal that you did with the UFC, Francis just made probably what you're pretty close to what you're going to make in your next 5-6 fights in one night, because he believed in himself. And he decided to say, nobody's going to control what I'm doing. I'm going to control it. You can only control what you are doing. You cannot control what else is going on. So when everything is getting thrown at you from all different directions, you can only do what you can do. When I used to work in the service industry, things used to get crazy. And I used to be always like, I only have 2 hands and they can only do, a certain amount of things at one time. So focus, believe, bet on yourself, be like Francis, and make shit happen, man. It's out there for you. It's going to be hard. It's a struggle. It always is. But man, if there was ever an inspirational story that should help motivate you, his is one for sure. Make sure you go look him up if you don't know who he is. Go watch the fight. I'm sure there's some stuff on YouTube by now, at least the highlights. And this is not to knock Tyson Fury either. I mean, if you go back and listen to my pick from last week's episode, or the last episode, I spoke about him not knowing how strong Francis Ngannou really is. I'm like, he's not going to understand the strength because he's fought other boxers, but has he fought other boxers that had to work in sand mines and then also has to wrestle as his other fighting job, like wrestling and grappling with guys? There's a certain amount of strength that comes with that you can't measure necessarily unless you've have felt it a few times. And I don't think he was prepared for that because how could he know? He's watched some MMA fights. He's like, oh, okay, he does this, he does that. He's wild. I'm just going to jab him and, make an easy night of it. But the reality is, he also said after the fight was over, when they asked him about, preparation, there's no film to look at that he can really take from to figure out, exactly who Ngannou was he was fighting. And Ngannou was patient. He did a lot of countering. He didn't rush it. He knew it was going to be a 10-round fight, and heavyweights in 10 rounds, especially if you have not ever done a 10-round boxing match, right? It's your first time. They don't expect you to last. I mean, Conor, what did he go out in the 9th? And, Floyd carried him pretty much. So it's tough in there. It's tough to do do long rounds like that, and you're not used to it. So to his credit, he was patient, composed, countered, did everything the way he was supposed to do it. The judges scored it the other way, It's fine. His what did Fat Joe say? Today's price is not yesterday's price. Oh, no. Yesterday's price is not today's price. I don't know how I messed that up. Anyway, shout out to Francis Ngannou. Shout out to you if you're out there struggling and just trying to make it. I believe in you. I'm sure the people around you do. But the most important thing is that you believe in you more than we do. All right? Okay, before I go, I just want to give a shout out to Element Health. I rolled with this cat, Adam. Cool dude. And he sent me a box of like CBD gummies and CBD oils and whatever, and some salve. And it's actually really damn good. So I'm going to put their information down at the bottom. This is not a paid anything. I just think it's dope. So let me see if I can get, what is that? There it is. Can you focus on this? No. Yes. Anyway, Element Health, there you go. And I'll put their Instagram at the bottom. Go check them out. Great stuff. If you like the show, tap the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend. If you want to stop by the gym, you know the deal. www.luckysmt.com. We have fights this weekend. I have 5 guys fighting at Komodo. I got 2 guys fighting PFL the weekend after that. And I'm kind of keen on doing this Naga. We shall see. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace. Have a beautiful, beautiful Halloween.
This world will take a good man and they change him to a villain. When the system's been set up by racists trying to kill him. I just wanna